If you don't intervene, then you die from that condition. Now, sudden cardiac death is remarkably common. It happens 300,000 times each year in the United States.
Calkins says attention is often drawn to cardiac arrest because a sports injury takes place and the player collapses suddenly, an unlikely event in someone who plays professional or elite sports. He says bystanders must work quickly to restore blood flow and save the player's life. At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy.
Lead, arsenic, formaldehyde. Watch out for what may be hidden in your favorite beauty products. One doctor says the fewer ingredients, the better. I'm Raymer, and this is your KHN Health Minute. Toxic substances linked to brain damage and cancer have been found in makeup, lotion, and chemical straighteners. Europe has banned potentially harmful products, but here, holes in U.S. law keep many on store shelves. That's left oversight to states that want to crack down.
It is a true historic change that, frankly, I could only dream of being possible.
That's U.S. drug czar Dr. Rahul Gupta. He's talking about a change to federal rules that makes it easier to get a life-saving treatment for opioid addiction. Buprenorphine lowers the risk of overdose and death. Last year, just 7% of providers were cleared to prescribe the drug. They needed permission from the government, but not anymore. To learn more about the opioid crisis, go to khn.org.
News Radio WGNS, Murfreesboro. The views and opinions on this show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of WGNS, its management, other hosts, or advertisers.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Once again, Edwin Lee Raymer here with you with the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Ed Raymer here with you. You know, I don't know how many friends, family, and people I've talked to. It's going to be a bit different tonight, as a lot of you know, that have lost family and friends to some type of addiction. Whether it be pills, regular, let's just call it dope for the sake of nice conversation, drugs, illegal drugs, mind you, alcohol, okay? Let me tell you, it's a problem in this country that I don't feel is talked about enough. Now, I want to say this to you, and I want to say right now, Barkley is here with us. Barkley?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you
Hey,
seriously, I appreciate you having me here, Ed.
Thank you so much. As you know, I went to hear you speak back in, I think it was November, one of the churches that were here. I was out there, and I didn't get to see you. I had to be somewhere else later that night. And this man has a story to tell, folks. I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Now, you will hear probably tonight some of the funniest things you've ever heard in your life.
Keep your expectations low.
And it's amazing you'll hear some of the saddest things you've ever heard in your life. I don't know how many of you have had children that I know of that you've lost because of, for example, opioids. Barkley and I was talking about this just a while ago. And we've got some numbers we're going to give you. Get a pencil and some paper ready. I'm going to give you these numbers after a while, okay? But Jackson's on the board, and bear with him, folks. He's feeling a bit under the weather, but he's going to be just fine.
Jackson.
And Barkley and I are going to get off on this thing.
Yeah.
But for right now, my name is Edwin Lee Raymer, and yes, I'm still a private investigator. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your good neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS Murfreesboro.
And that is a little stiff upper lip for you from AC/DC. And this is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. And I'm your host, Ed Raymer. This show is produced at studios of WGNS AM 1450, 100.5, 101.9 FM, right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Now, you can reach us tonight with your questions, comments, or ideas at 615-893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. Now, for some of you that may not want to go on the air or even maybe a little too shy or whatever, you can send us a text to that number, and Jackson will get it, and he'll write it down and hand it to me, or I'll hand it to Barkley, whatever. Send the text to that number, and we'll be glad to read it over the air. And if you want to go on the air, you can. You're more than welcome to. You do not have to give your name, okay? We've never required that anyway. But there are some people that are in programs that they do not wish to give their name. And so we understand, And that's the reason they call, for example, Alcoholics Anonymous, it's called Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, right. You're identified. Barkley, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will.
I am.
First name only.
Yeah.
Or maybe even a nickname. That's fine.
Could
whatever.
be. Although Barkley would be a weird nickname.
And you can also listen to us via the internet at WGNSradio.com. And you can reach us on YouTube. We are live on YouTube on WGNS. What is that? WGNS? Tell me again.
We are live on News Radio WGNS on YouTube.
News Radio WGNS on YouTube. And this is kind of new to us. We've done the last 4 or 5. We used to be on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube now. So
nice.
You're going to be a movie star.
I'm telling you, the internet. I have a good feeling about the internet. I think it's going to go places.
You think so?
I do. Okay. I really do.
Well, you and Al Gore both. And we're not going down that road tonight, folks.
No, not tonight.
Okay?
I have no
No,
opinion
not
on
tonight.
That
we're not going to do politics at all. It's bad enough what we're going to be talking about anyway. Now, you can also download the WGNS app, and you can take us with you wherever you go and listen whenever you wish. And I always talk to Angela Bingham. Angela was headed out tonight. I didn't get to listen to any of her show tonight. I had some things going on. And I walked in. She said, I've already told Mr. Barkley I'm praying for him if he's on your show.
What a lovely
So
lady.
I get a lot of respect around here.
Yes, exactly.
Barkley,
yeah.
I'm just going to start out like I do most of the time. People always think people on TV or people on radio, we know you must know so much. No, I don't. So we didn't have guests on.
Exactly.
Can you tell us your story of how you got to where you are? I mean, you're a lifelong, basically, Tennessee guy.
Yeah. I was born and raised in Nashville, outside Nashville.
Right.
But and first on, this is just kind of the way that I introduce myself. When I am a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, so I won't be saying my last name. I prefer to stay anonymous.
And we do have the camera off you.
Yep.
So we have both cameras on me. So sorry, folks. Let's go. You don't have to laugh at that.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I've been in Alcoholics Anonymous since January 1st of 1990. Okay,
1990.
That is my sobriety date. Right.
Okay.
And
now that's the date.
That's the
day.
You quit, that's the day that I've not had a drink or a mind-altering drug since December 31st of 1989.
And I think a friend of mine calls that's your surrender.
That's my sobriety date. My birthday in AA. Whatever. We kind of call it your birthday.
All right,
because we got a couple of birthdays.
Sure. Right.
Anyway, so that's my sobriety date.
Okay.
And before then, getting into AA, I'll tell you kind of how I ended up there. I come from a family of 5 people.
Okay.
My parents met here at MTSC back in the day, Middle Tennessee State College, before it was Middle Tennessee State University.
State College.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
My mother was the salutatorian of MTSC. My father was a doctor. I mean, very brilliant, very wonderful people.
Well-educated.
Well-educated.
Well-read.
Well-educated. And I mean, truly intelligent, good people.
Right.
Also happened to be alcoholics.
Okay.
And they had 3 sons. I was the youngest of the 3 sons.
Okay.
And we all happened to be alcoholics. I truly, truly believe this is, in the book, Alcoholics Anonymous, they refer to this disease as an allergy.
An allergy, right.
Yeah, I have an allergy of the body that once I take alcohol into my system, it creates this phenomenon of craving, and I crave more.
Now, the book you have with you, this is called, I believe it's called The Big Book.
Right. It is.
Right.
It is. It is actually the book. They named the book. The book was published in April of 1939.
Right.
And they actually got the name of the movement from the book. The book is called Alcoholics Anonymous. It's kind of the textbook that goes through the 12 steps.
Sure. And there are many other programs that are patterned.
Absolutely.
After Alcoholics Anonymous.
And this is an old number, but and please, please do correct me if you know what the right number is.
Sure.
I'd
sure.
love to
We
hear
stand
it.
correct. That's
but
fine.
Yeah. But last I heard, there were something like 300 and something 12-step programs, all based
Really?
on
That many?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, because there's like all kinds of, and please, if I'm lying, let me know, because I try not to lie. I really do. I do sometimes, but not on purpose these days. But anyway, there are a ton of programs that are based on the 12 steps.
Right.
And the reason is because it just works. It just works. So anyway, I come from a family of 5 people. Of those 5 people, drugs and alcohol have killed 3 of the 5 of us.
Really?
And there's 2 of us left, me and my oldest brother, and we are both members of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Is that a fact?
And
My
I don't
goodness.
think that's just some kind of weird coincidence that we're the 2
Right.
that are alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, I really do believe, and like I said, in the big book, it talks about it's an allergy. These days,
Right.
with the advances in medicine since 1939, right? They're thinking it has more to do with genetics and that kind of stuff.
Sure,
They're looking
sure.
at different stuff, but whatever it is, it really doesn't even matter what it is. It just is, right? It just is.
Here's the part that I'm wondering when to listen to. Maybe this
Yeah.
will perk some people up. Mm-hmm. How much did you have to pay AA to get this information?
That is the great thing about Alcoholics Anonymous.
Right.
AA is not, you don't pay anybody. There's no dues. There's no fees.
You don't have to call your insurance company.
You don't have to call your insurance company. And a lot of people, and I have absolutely nothing against going to rehab.
Sure,
I think it's
sure.
a great thing.
Right.
However, my personal story is I quit drinking on January 1st, 1990, and I made it 1 week without drinking or drugging or any kind of anything, and I was just a nut job,
Right.
And somebody said to me, "Why don't you go to one of those AA meetings?" And I said,
Sure.
I went, and honestly, when I went, I had no idea what AA was. And I was expecting it to be like, hey, here, it's a $250 joining fee or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of like Amway and all that. Yeah.
And
yeah.
it really is.
It's not.
It is. It's not affiliated with any religion. It's not affiliated with any business. It's not affiliated with anything. And it is purely, they call it an altruistic movement, right? It is
Exactly.
absolutely. And it was hard for me to believe that all these people were like, just wanted to help me because they just wanted to help me. But now,
Right.
these days, now that I've been through the steps and I get what it's all about. Absolutely. There's no dues, fees, or anything like that.
At Barclay, I can see why people would be cynical, especially in today's environment.
I get it.
Okay,
I get it.
How much money is this guy? Okay, what's
Right.
the catch?
Yeah, and
what's going on? Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this: when I did decide to come into AA, it was between going to continue psychotherapy, right? Which I have nothing against psychotherapy at all. But at the time, it was continue psychotherapy or continue going to AA. And psychotherapy at the time was $60 an hour, and AA was, if you got $1, throw it in the basket when it goes around the room. And that really did help me make the decision. I've since gone back to
Sure.
Because
Sure.
I have no opinion on anything outside of AA. I really, really don't.
Right.
Politics, whether or not.
Yay or nay or whatever. That's
and
fine.
I have
Yeah.
nothing, and it's important for me to get this across. I have nothing against drinking. If you can drink, have at it. I think that's great. 90% of the population can have a beer, and maybe a beer or 2, and just put it down. Or maybe every now and then they might even, get a little bit tipsy. I can't. Once I take a beer, I don't know what's going to happen.
Let me say this, and please don't run me out of here and take over the show, which the studio might want to see you do that. But I mean, I watched some things on YouTube, which YouTube can be great, it can be poison. Okay?
Yeah.
But there is a man on it that seems to make some sense, and like you mentioned, you felt not miserable, maybe miserable the first 4 or 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
And he talked about that.
Sure, yeah.
He said, understand. Craig Beck is this man's name. And he's on stopdrinking.com or something. I don't know what it is,
Okay.
And he's all about AA too, whatever.
Right.
I've watched him. And he said, please understand, this is just temporary.
Yeah.
It's your body trying to get back to normal.
Absolutely. I've had short-term sobriety, which is like the first month is just nuts. It really is, because your body is really going, hey, wait a minute, where's all the... And quite honestly, I think it's a really good idea, especially if you drink just tons, to get detoxed, right? Because you can literally die from detoxing from alcohol. It's a tough one. It really, really is. Plus, I know that if I had spent the past 15 years of my life, I mean, my life kind of revolved around drinking. If you looked at me, I didn't really look what I thought an alcoholic was. I thought an alcoholic was the dude under the bridge. You know what I'm talking about?
The old man drinking out of the bottle in the bag and all that.
I was married. I had a house. I had 2 kids. I went to work every day. But on the way home, I would stop and get a 12-pack of beer. And I would sit on the couch and drink till I passed out. You know?
Okay. Barkley is with us. He is with AA, and we're glad to have him here tonight. Thank you. By the way, thank you for doing this.
Absolutely,
we appreciate it because people need to hear what you have to say and many others. We're going to go to our first series of breaks. Jackson's going to be good enough to get us there. And we're with Barkley with AA, and I'm Ed Raymer with Edwin Lee Raymer Show. We're going to be back with you right after this series of breaks. Stay with us. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawns cut, mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all. Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Are you tired of wasting money on rent and ready to be a homeowner? Celia Snodgrass can help you do just that. She's a licensed real estate agent at Benchmark Realty who's been helping Rutherford County families find their dream homes for the past 15 years. She's also enabled many individual real estate investors to achieve financial success in Tennessee's booming real estate market. Currently, one of those investors is now selling some of those properties to qualified first-time homeowners with low down payments and reasonable seller financing. So if you're wanting to buy a home, find out more by calling Celia at 615-948-6367. And we are back with Barkley with AA. Now, Barkley, we were just talking about, we want to leave people some information of how they can get hold of people.
Right.
I've got some numbers here from a book that I picked up, Being Sober. And now this is not an AA book.
No.
It is not. But there are numbers here they have for a group called Al-Anon. Will you tell folks what Al-Anon is?
Al-Anon, AA is the support group, the fellowship of alcoholics, and Al-Anon is the support group for families of and friends of the alcoholic. Right.
Now you can write this down if you have someone you think that may be in trouble or whatever the case is.
You know, some people even type it into their phone.
Sure.
It's amazing what they're doing these days.
888-4-AL-ANON. ALANON. Okay?
All right.
That's 888-4, the number 4, Al-Anon. ALANON. Alcoholics Anonymous World Service.
Right. Which is up in New York.
Is New York?
It's up in New York.
Is it New York? Okay. 212. Yeah, that's 212. That's a New York zip area code.
Right.
870-3400.
And if you're in Nashville, if you're in the Middle
Nashville,
Tennessee,
I want you to give those numbers.
Nashville, Murfreesboro, anywhere in Middle Tennessee,
right?
There is 615-831-1050, 1050, right? And that goes to central office. And there are normally people, there will always be someone answer the phone, whether it's an answering service during the daytime, there are people there. Also, there is a website, aanashville.org,
right?
And all of the meetings are there, and all the stuff's there.
It's if you site. Google it, it's going to take you somewhere.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
If you Google alcoholism, it will take you all over the place.
Well, when you can Google Ed Raymer, that's pretty bad. I mean, you know, and you can Google the Edwin Lee Raymer Show, and it'll take you. And my private phone number, it's not a private number. It's 615-390-7219. A lot of you have it.
Right.
There's not much anonymity in the world anymore as far as it comes to that. Now, let me give you two more numbers because we wanted to do this. If you need to write these down. And the other is Families Anonymous. Now, I don't know what.
I don't either.
Do you know? Okay.
I have no idea.
But it's listed here in this book that I brought with me tonight at 800-800-736-9805.
9805.
That's 800-736-9805.
Cool.
And then you have Narcotics Anonymous. And we're going to touch on this in just a minute. Narcotics Anonymous is 415-621-8600.
Cool.
Okay?
That's NA, right?
And NA. And then we have, they've got so many others down here. And a lot of Barkley, a lot of our younger people will know a lot more about this probably than we do. They probably already know this.
I'm sure.
You know, it's like you want to have the talk with your son. It says, what do you need to know, Dad?
Right.
I mean, our kids are brighter. I mean,
absolutely.
They're brighter than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
But you have na.org. You have Alateen.
Right. Now, Alateen is the organization for kids of alcoholics, right?
As I understand, I don't know. I don't know.
That's. I mean,
I
really do want to make clear one point. I do not speak for Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm just a member.
That's right.
As my sponsor says, I'm just a satisfied customer of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Well, satisfied customer. Well, that's and that's like I've told you. We do the public service announcements,
right?
And so I got with some people. The Manny organization.
Yeah.
And I got a whole load of stuff from a lady over there that was kind enough to help me out.
Right.
And I wanted to do, I said, well, we do PSAs, public service announcements.
Yeah.
We just played one a while ago.
Yeah.
And one of the boys at the time asked me, he said, well, why you want to do that? Why don't you just cut it yourself? I said, wait a minute, you don't understand.
Right.
These folks have some rules.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to tread on anybody's. Hey, it's their barbecue and
Yeah.
it tastes great, I guess. But every man should know his limitations, and I do know mine. And so I called up there finally, a fine young man on the phone, very helpful. I said, here's what I got. Been on the air a few years at that time. We've been on the air 10 years now.
Wow, really?
And I said, send me what you got. He said, let me send you 3 or 4. I think he did. And they're loaded in the board here.
Yeah.
And the boys and girls play them every once in a while, whichever one they want to pull up and play.
Sure.
We try to do 2 or 3 a show if we can. So, but they are done. Those are not done by us, ladies and gentlemen. They are done by Alcoholics Anonymous out of New York.
Yeah.
So,
It's called AA World Services, and
Right.
even the people that are on the commercials, they're not actual alcoholics. They're just actors who
Maybe.
you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is true.
and I mean, if AA were to ask me to do it, I'd do it for free. I don't care.
Absolutely.
It doesn't bother me. But I, no more, no less.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever they say that I can do here. And, and I want to say this, and I thank you, Barkley, again, because we've talked about this, and we had a good friend, Doug, who helped put this thing together. Thank you, Doug, if you're listening. We hope you are. And thank you so much for putting it. We talked over this. What can we do? What can we not do? What should we do? What should we not do?
Right.
And I've got some folks that are listening tonight. They're supposed to text me if I'm getting off. I've never been so nervous in my life. I feel like a first-time stripper here.
I have no opinion on that.
Mark and I talked about it during the winter. It looked like a good friend of ours, Larry, it looked like you picked up some weight over the winter. Yeah, I'm toning up for when I go to the beach in the spring.
There you go.
And I said, Ed, the girls aren't saying ooh, said they're saying ugh. So
that's funny.
I've got a lot of friends out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about and you have the Narcotics Anonymous,
right.
which is a good organization. But as I understand, a lot of people in Narcotics Anonymous would rather go to AA.
Well, I mean,
and no knock on Narcotics Anonymous.
No, absolutely. I tell you, one of the beautiful things about any 12-step program is the identification. When I went to my very first AA meeting, what really got me, because I'd had plenty of people said, "Dude, you're drinking too much." You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
and all I thought to say was just shut up, right?
Yeah, sure.
But when I went to AA, what happened is I could identify with the people. They kind of told my story, right?
Right.
And it wasn't them telling me about my drinking. It was them telling me about their drinking. And that's completely
they're not preaching to you.
They're just saying this is what I was like, this is what happened, and this is what I'm like now.
This is what happened to me.
Yeah. And I can't argue with that. I can argue with I don't drink that much, but I can't argue with your story. So NA, and there's HA for Heroin Anonymous, there's Marijuana Anonymous, there's a newish program I think that I just heard about, it's a DDA. I can't remember. It's Drug Dependent Anonymous or something.
Something like that.
Anyway,
okay.
But one thing that really is important is that whole principle of identification.
Right.
So if somebody comes in and starts talking about using, like I think we were talking about fentanyl, right?
Fentanyl.
I can't relate to that. I can relate to it. I have plenty of friends who have had some just horrific experiences. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine in AA went out and smoked a joint that had fentanyl in it and overdosed and died. A dear friend of mine, her fiance, OD'd and died just last year. I mean, it really is. It's wiping out. This opioid thing is crazy. It really, really is. And there's a number of things that you can do. There are a number of organizations and 12-step programs and stuff that I really hope people will avail themselves of.
Good deal. And that's why we're here.
It's a killer, man.
Right.
It's a killer. It really is.
Good friend of mine, John, told you I've got a lot of friends here in this county. When Tennessee goes deeper than Kentucky, we're talking about the NCAA tournament. Said it'll be okay, Ed. Funny.
There may be a BA, a Basketball Anonymous. There really may. I think there probably is.
I may need it after this week because I had to put on here for one friend, Go Vols. So that hurts. Funny, John. Real funny. Thank you. I'll look you up this week.
Yes.
But the fentanyl, it seems like there's always something. When we were talking about the internet a while ago. Well, there's always something new. That can be a good thing.
Right.
But this drug thing, me and you didn't have that. We both got some of these gray hairs here. We didn't have that kind of. We had pot, and then the big thing back then was heroin or
right.
LSD.
Yeah, and there was I really do want to say I did anything I could get my hands on. My father was a veterinarian, and I can promise you, I've probably done more dog dope than anybody listening. That's
a first. I never heard it put that way. Dog dope, okay?
But in my core, I'm an alcoholic, right?
Sure,
I just am an alcoholic. I have friends. I have a very good friend who, in his core, he goes to narcotics. He goes to fentanyl. He goes to cocaine. There's a cocaine. I'm not sure. But anyway, it really is the fentanyl I have seen. I've been sober now for like 33 years, right?
Okay.
And I've seen lots of stuff come and go. I mean, there was well, not even go so much, but the whole there has been a whole lot of drugs that have come and gone.
Right.
But I don't think I've ever seen anything that just wipes people out like the fentanyl thing. I
have heard, and again, don't get me wrong, and folks, I'll fess up to you. I've drank my fair share of beer and bourbon. I told Barkley that when we first did that. It's a nemesis, please. But the fentanyl that I've seen on news magazines, 60 Minutes, 2020, all that.
Yeah.
2 grains of salt will kill you.
Wow, really?
Take you out of here.
Really?
If it's pure fentanyl. Yeah.
Holy moly.
But then I had a friend that told me recently he has some medical condition, legitimate medical condition, and he said they treated him with fentanyl. Yeah, and he said it works. Let me tell you, he said, but there's a difference. I didn't go down here in the alley and get my fentanyl.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is done by whoever it was, one of the hospitals in Nashville, whatever. People that know what they're doing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And
I mean, and that's that's the same thing with codeine. I mean, all of the stuff. I mean, these drugs were originally made for a purpose.
Opioids.
The opioid was for pain management, right?
That's what it was. But then we got into the pharmaceutical thing.
Yeah.
Of where the more the merrier.
Right.
And I've said this right here, talking about health insurance situations. Mm-hmm. I think there are some doctors out there, not all of them. My doctor won't give me an aspirin. He must know my lack of willpower. I think he's smarter than I give him credit for. No, you're not dying. No, I just
I just kind of
yeah. But I mean, this stuff is it's deadly.
It is.
I mean, and we have some doctors out there, which I was getting ready to say, and again, none of my doctors. None of my doctors. They're wonderful people, fine people, But here, Barkley, here's a prescription, and come back and see me in 30 days. Hey, don't forget your copay.
Right.
If that don't do it, you're going back. Oh, that didn't do it. Okay, well, let's try this. And I'm wondering if we've become customers instead of patients.
As just a guy, Barkley, I wonder the same thing. As a guy that's here talking about AA, I have no opinion on that.
Right.
I really do.
Yeah.
However, as just, I mean,
but you know what I'm
I
getting
am a
at.
citizen of the world.
Right.
And
right.
as a citizen of the world, I certainly hear what you're talking about.
Right.
I really do.
I mean, when you've got kids out here, we have elderly people with narcotics. They're having problems. They're hooked on it, and a lot of their children don't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mother, when she left this world, was on 13 different medications.
Wow.
She
couldn't have told you what half of them were.
She didn't know.
Yeah.
Mom was ready to leave this world. At that point.
I get it.
And I knew it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's times when you know it's for the better. And in her case, and she had several other health problems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about a teetotaler. My mother, no, she didn't. Teetotaler, brother.
Right, completely, right?
Yeah. Now, she smoked in the closet at the house. Smokers Anonymous? I didn't know.
There's a Nicotine Anonymous. There
really?
Absolutely is, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Dang.
Someone very close to me went to Nicotine Anonymous for a long time. A long time.
I've heard of Overeaters Anonymous.
Oh yeah, I
I
noticed
we
the two
don't,
of us. I
don't
think,
look like the Neva. We need to go there.
But you know what? And the deal is all of these programs are programs because they're based on the 12 steps. And I'm half tempted to just read what the 12 steps are.
Read me one or two.
Right now.
You have the 12 steps.
Yeah, I've got the book right here, and it's on.
Now this is what we call the big book.
The big book.
Of AA.
It's a big blue book, and the name is Alcoholics Anonymous. And rather than saying,
and this is not the Bible. This is
no.
This is the big book.
Textbook.
Yeah.
This is a textbook.
Right.
And it calls it that.
Someone can buy this. You can buy it at a bookstore. You can go to an AA place.
You absolutely can go to Central Office, and they're in Nashville. You can go to probably I can't even think of the name. Go to Manny, right?
Meeting places,
sure. Right? Go to meeting places. They got them there,
right.
And they're pretty inexpensive because their AA isn't trying to make money off of them. They're just trying to spread the word, right? So the first step is and it says we admitted we were powerless over, and the original AA one says we were powerless over alcohol. So. I think OA says we're powerless over food. NA says we're powerless over narcotics. But it's the same thing. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Right. So go ahead, please.
So really, that's two steps in one.
It
really
is. It's kind of A, B. So I admit, once I take alcohol into my system, I am completely powerless over it. And they talk about it being a physical mental disease, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so if I just stayed away from it, great, no problem, right? But I have this other part of the disease, which is my mental part, which will get me back to that drink. You know, it's like if I just didn't drink that first drink, no problem, I'd be fine.
Sure.
But what happens is I get in the book they call it, I get restless, irritable, and discontented. Maybe you can relate to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is, even though I made a promise, oh God, I'm never going to do that again. Whew, man, right?
I've heard that before.
Right?
Yeah.
At some point, I forget all that, or I just decide I've changed my mind or whatever, and my brain gets me back to another drink. Right. And so that's the first part of it. I'm powerless over alcohol, and that my life has become unmanageable. Right.
Okay.
And I didn't think my life was really that unmanageable until I got sober for a little while, and I looked back at it and went, "Whoa!" I mean, I know. They call them hitting a bottom, right? It's like, and my bottom, I've heard guys that, hitting a bottom is a backseat of a cop car. That's a great place to hit your bottom. A jail is a great place to, but I mean, just a point where you can no longer deny this is a problem, right?
Sure.
And I never really had that huge moment. But by the time I got a little sober, my mind cleared up a little bit. And I could look back and say, dude, you literally were drinking at least a 12-pack every night, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And my
or
life
a quart of whiskey a day,
whiskey
or
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and it really isn't so much a matter of how much. It really is.
Yeah, it could be, they say, 1 or 2 drinks.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that react differently to different.
There are.
And people have adverse. My wife had an adverse reaction to a drug they gave her one time that took her to the emergency room. It happens.
And I went
penicillin,
to a friend of mine's house last night that has 3 cats. I'm not allergic to a lot of stuff,
right,
but I'm allergic to cats. Right?
I woke up
in the, and you may be able to see still. My eyes are bloodshot. That used to be for a different reason.
Okay.
But I had a huge reaction to those cats. I mean, my eyes got all swollen up. I've got friends that have. We are in the allergy capital of the world.
Oh
here in Murfreesboro, right?
And it's about to get worse in the next few weeks.
I heard somebody refer to that as the pollinating, and I thought. But anyway, and they have this really bad reaction to all that pollen. It's not anything that they're doing; it's just their body has an allergy to it. Kind of the same deal with alcohol, except I break out in. I want more.
You want more?
Yeah.
One drink's too many, 1,000 ain't enough.
I believe that's what they say. Yeah.
I've heard that. Seriously. Yeah. Give me. You have 12 steps. Give me. How about the second one?
All right, the second one. All right. So we admitted we're powerless over alcohol; that our lives have become unmanageable. And then the second one is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Right. And it really is. When I first heard that, I had a preconceived prejudice when I came into AA, where you were going to tell me you have to believe this particular thing about a higher power.
Okay, we want to talk about that.
Yeah, we really do. Because and it was my prejudice. I thought they were going to be talking about "hello, friend" or whatever.
Because of all the TV preachers we've seen.
Yeah,
right.
And quite honestly, it really is. It is a power bigger than me that can relieve me of this thing, because I can't. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And it can be, if it's Jesus for you, that's great. I love it. I'm wonderful. But that leaves out all the Buddhists and Hindus and Muslims and all that other stuff, right?
Right. Okay.
If whatever it is to you, it can be an oak tree or whatever. That's probably, anyway.
A power greater than yourself.
Just a power bigger than me. It can be the group itself, right?
Now, I've heard that a God of your own choosing.
Or God of your own understanding. Right? Yeah,
okay.
right? God as I understand him. Or that entity, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll get into more. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go to our last series of breaks. Jackson's going to take us there. And I want to tell you about somebody here that I have almost forgot about. I've got Celia Snodgrass. And Celia is selling some houses here for an investor. Where is this thing at? I'm on the wrong page. I need to get a 6-year-old up here to help me through this phone. I'm serious. And seriously, here it is, right here. I've got it. And she is with Benchmark Realty, okay? And she's a licensed real estate agent here in Rutherford County. She's been helping families find homes for the past 15 years. Now, currently one of her investors is now selling some of these properties to qualified first-time buyers. Okay, with low down payments and reasonable seller financing. These are $250,000, $300,000, $350,000 homes. Okay, we're not talking about duplexes, things like that. Okay, so if you're wanting to buy a home, find out more, give Celia a call. You'll hear another ad here in just a second, but I want to give her a shake on this because this is a good deal for you folks. And owner financing is, it's a wonderful thing. You can hash this thing out. Give her a call at 615-948-6367. That's 615-948-6367. Ed Raymer with you with the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Back right after this. Stay with us. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawns cut, mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all. Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Are you tired of wasting money on rent and ready to be a homeowner? Celia Snodgrass can help you do just that. She's a licensed real estate agent at Benchmark Realty who's been helping Rutherford County families find their dream homes for the past 15 years. She's also enabled many individual real estate investors to achieve financial success in Tennessee's booming real estate market. Currently, one of those investors is now selling some of those properties to qualified first-time homeowners with low down payments and reasonable seller financing. So if you're wanting to buy a home, find out more by calling Celia at 615-948-6367. All right, we are back.
Yes.
With Barkley with AA. Barkley, let me read this first. A lady.
Oh, yeah. That's
Bonnie,
beautiful.
if you're listening.
Love you, Bonnie.
Listen to this, folks. AA saved my father in 1960. Thank God for AA. Bonnie. And Jesus Christ is God. That's what she believes. Bonnie, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Very, very cool.
And all of our other folks that listen regularly, thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Our sponsors, we thank you. We couldn't do it without you. All of our guests that have come up, the first week in July will mark 10. That first weekend in July will mark 10 years. I've been on the air here. So
good for you.
Well, we're giving it a try. We're going to see. I don't know.
See if it flies, right?
See if it flies. That's exactly right, But we asked Barkley to come up tonight. He is a proud associate or member of
I think member, yeah.
Member?
I am a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, yes. And the cool thing about that is nobody can kick you out. If you say I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, you're in, right?
Right, okay.
And I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous.
As I understand, there's no paperwork to sign. There's no insurance forms. There's none of that.
I kind of want to talk about the anonymity part of it, right?
Please do. Go right ahead.
Because there's a lot of AA that is just kind of it was a gift is kind of what it was. When AA first started, I think I said earlier on, it started back in 1935, right?
Okay.
And it was basically, they did anonymous because it was a bunch of professional people that drunk their way out of a job and all that stuff, and they kind of wanted it. Right. They didn't want people knowing that they were going to this meeting, but really, what it has transformed into is it protects really me from me, because I do have, I think most of the alcoholics I've ever met have a pretty good size ego. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't know anything about
that. And it really is. It's about keeping my ego at bay, because if I were to come on here and say, hey, my name is so-and-so and I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous and this is what it's done for me, and then I go out and get drunk, right, it does damage to AA. So I love this thing that has truly saved my life. And Bonnie, I get that. I mean, I believe you in the depths of my soul that AA saved your father back in 1960. I get that completely, and I don't want to do anything to hurt it, because I've got kids and they share the same genetics that I have, and I would like for AA to be around for a few more generations. I'm going to tell you something you can do. I'm doing this right now while Barkley's talking, so please forgive me.
That's cool.
Everybody, come on, folks. You got a phone or you got ways to get online.
Yeah.
Go to Google, type in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
It will take you. Now, as I see here, Alcoholics Anonymous, we have groups that meet here, and you can find out, go by their places several times a day here in all over Middle Tennessee. And I don't know. Now, if I believe it's AA.org. AA.org.
Yeah, that's
AA.org.
That's, not AA.com. That's a whole different place, okay?
Right.
But AA.org.
To give you to your local people.
That is. And then AANashville.org is for not just Nashville, but the entire Middle Tennessee region. Right.
And as I understand, there is an app that you can pull up. Now, everything is GPS. I don't know. I say, if you're lost on your phone like I do, look up the nearest 7-year-old on your street. They'll be glad to talk you through it. But it has meeting times.
There's one, and I think this is part of AA, so I don't think I don't want to be saying anything about any for-profit company or anything.
Sure,
but there's an app called hold please, here we go, Meeting Guide, that you can download.
Meeting Guide.
Okay. You can download it for free. I believe AA owns the whatever, so they're not making any money on it. It's just an easy way to find wherever you are, you can find a meeting.
I think what's so hard for people to wrap their head around in this day and time is, come on, this can't be free.
I know. And I get that. I really do get
I can
that.
understand
it's like, as a matter of fact, I'm the treasurer of my home group, right? And I went into the bank to make. We do take up. We pass the hat, and I mean literally. The people put in a couple of bucks if they can. So we have this account, and so the teller, I'd gotten to know her pretty well. She goes, "Okay, who's making all this money?" And it was so cool to be able to tell her, nobody's making all this money. Here's what happens to this money. I turn it into you, and then the group splits it up. We send some to like Middle Tennessee AA just to help them with expenses. We send some up to New York. We send some to just these different entities, but all of it goes into helping people. All of it. No, there's not anybody making money off of AA.
But now, as I understand, AA is totally self-supporting.
Absolutely. As a
there
matter
are
of fact,
no government dollars that go into these programs.
As a matter of fact,
your tax dollars has nothing to do with it.
Absolutely. If I go into an AA meeting and I'm not an alcoholic, and you certainly can do that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Sure. People are welcome to go into meetings.
If there's open meetings and there's closed meetings. Closed meetings are for alcoholics only, but there are plenty of open meetings, and you can go into an AA meeting. We get a lot of people from like MTSU who are studying that, and they just want to go to a meeting. You are not allowed to make a donation. Right?
Okay.
So if you're not a member,
they're not allowed to even contribute.
We do not. As a matter of fact, my home group, we went to this church and said, hey, we would really like to be able to have meetings here at this church. And the preacher was very, very supportive. He said, I will let you do it for free. And we had to say, we can't do that. We have to pay you some kind of rent because we are self-supporting.
You have to pay them.
We have to pay him. Right?
Something.
Absolutely. And because we are self-supporting through our own contributions. And it really is that way. There's nobody making any money. It's a thing that helps literally pick people up out of the trash heap or whatever of life.
Understood. Yeah.
And my life today, honest to God. And I was not like I said earlier, I was not under the bridge. I was not all that stuff. But my life is just so much better than it used to be, man.
Right.
Holy moly. God,
just basically
you're doing what you should do.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm doing what normal people do.
I got to tell you, I don't know if we're both normal or not, but when I first met this man, I said, you know what? I don't know if I'm like him or not, but I'll tell you what, I can sure get along with this guy. And but really, but when it comes to the money, and we always money, it always But these buildings and things, they require maintenance, they require upkeep, they require cleaning, and
but AA does not own those buildings. Like the building over on Manny, right?
Okay, it's Manny.
There's a group of people who own that building, and the people who go in and have meetings in that facility pay rent to those people. AA does not own that building. AA doesn't own any property, and it's built into, we have our 12 steps, and then we also have the 12 traditions.
Okay.
And according to the 12 traditions, we cannot own any property, because we saw early on, if you start getting into that, it's going to start becoming about the money, and it's not about the money. It's about just trying to be of help. That's all it is.
There's a lot to this.
It's really
There's a lot to that, but it's not complicated. It's not complicated, but there is a lot to this when you really get into it. But folks, if you think you got a problem, you ought to listen to this man. And I'm going to tell you something. After I handcuff you from the desk and you leave, you're coming back later on.
I would love to. Truly.
I'm friends with local sheriff, and I had them pick him up and bring him in tonight, and he was fighting here.
As a matter of fact, I did was the only time, and this is, I joked about it. The only time I ever spent any time in jail was in the public drunk right up the street.
Is that
back in 1980s, early 80s, while I was in
that
college?
Was when the jail was here,
Well,
we're along.
The drunk tank was.
Well, we've really improved a lot since then.
Well, I know. See, I was a little old town when I did my practice drinking up here.
Keeping anywhere from at last count I had with Sheriff Edwin, anywhere from 800 to 900 prisoners.
Wow.
We've had the growth here,
and
as I understand, you came from Mount Juliet.
I did. I grew up
Mount Juliet. Someone was talking just the other day. I was talking to them. They said, Mount Juliet's about bigger than Lebanon is.
It is. It really is. And when I first moved there, when I was a kid and moved there with my family, it was just literally, it was not a city yet.
Right.
It was welcome to Mount Juliet unincorporated. There was one cop. Cop. His name was Buell Agee. And Buell Agee had got shot in the neck back in the 40s, and he could not turn his head to the left. So when it was time for him to get out into traffic, he just pulled out, and you got out of his way.
Now those are the good old days. That's funny. That's the good old days. It's the truth. Yeah, we all had one in town. Yeah. I mean, we had one. Hey, what was his name? In Madisonville, Kentucky, where I came from. And I was kind of like you. I was still living at home. We moved here in 1980.
Gotcha.
My father, I told you I was with Life and Casualty. My father and father-in-law were both with Life and Casualty Insurance Company.
Really?
You're familiar with them.
Oh, absolutely. The Opry, the whole deal.
Yeah,
man.
it's now the AIG and,
Has it been folded into?
They've been bought so many times and all that. But we had H.G. Bard, I think was his name, and I'll stand corrected on that, in Madisonville, Kentucky. Some of my family's listening tonight, I'll guarantee you. And some of my friends up there in southern Kentucky and western Kentucky. And he stopped Dad one day. And Dad didn't really know the guy. But, hey, you going downtown? He said, you going to town? Dad said, well, yes, sir, I'm getting ready to head up town. I said, give me a ride down to the police station. He'd walked out away from his squad car.
Funny.
And he said, I'll get one of the boys to go pick it. I don't know where I left it. I'll get it somewhere. and Dad gave, sure, get in. I'll give you a ride. No problem. And that was the old days.
Funny.
That's the way it was.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is.
And, and unfortunately, back then, talking about drinking and, for example, driving.
Yeah.
I've done my fair share of that.
I did it many times,
and I should have been thrown under the jail.
Zero idea why I never got a deal.
I don't. Luck.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
Just straight luck.
Absolutely.
And I was one of the few people that I said, when this DUI law got tougher, I said, I'm for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling they had nothing to do with it. I said,
Right.
yeah, it's time. Because I knew people they're dying every day because of this, and now we throw the drugs into it and everything else and all the other addiction.
I started out the show by saying I came from a family of 5 people, and one of the deaths in my family was exactly that. And speaking of which, if you do want to look up AA in the Middle Tennessee area,
Please do. We got
AANashville.org, and thank you so much for having me.
Barkley, I cannot thank you enough. Jackson, thank you for working the board tonight. We appreciate it. And Barkley's been good enough to come down and be with us. If you need help, get those numbers if you need them. You've got my private number. You can call it. That's 615-390-7219. Bill's going to be in here in a minute. Bill Wilson, he's going to come and share an hour with you. Till next Sunday night at 8 o'clock, I'll catch you down the road. Good night.